And baby, yeah, yeah. All right, Urban Therapy with Sun Show, y'all. And we here. Everything is good. Everything is good. Let's rock.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show.
Let's rock now. Yeah. How y'all feeling today? I hope y'all feeling the real good way, like I am say. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that I showed up. I'm glad y'all appeared too, and everything is gonna be okay. You know how we do on a Sunday. It's the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Yeah, how it go? We gonna do this thing. So act like you know. So check it out. Today on the Urban Therapy with Sun Show, we're talking about not old enough to be your mom or your dad, but too old to date. What y'all talking about? Yeah. Not old enough to be your mother or your father, not old enough to be your parents, but too old to date. Now, that's just the title of the show. But what we're going to talk about today is pretty much your feelings about dating older people. You know, especially at the age that I am and many of my peers are right now, it can be an issue when you start talking about dating somebody, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 years older than you. Well, some people might consider that old enough to be your parent. I don't. But I know how it goes. I mean, I know that you can have a baby at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, but I would never consider that to be, well, I ain't gonna say never. I wouldn't consider that to be my parent, old enough to be my parent. But it might be too old for me to date. But for some people, they don't feel that way, and they feel like, well, yeah, whether you are old enough to be my parent or whatever, you know, I make my own decisions, and it might be a good decision for me to make. So let me take some time to get into this rhyme, and I say that I'm just ready for the world. Yo, that's my girl. Yeah, she's 68 years old. Take a twirl. Hey, for the next man, he might be with all of that. But at this age that I am and that many of my peers are, dating somebody that is that much older than you has some ramifications to it. And I want to see it, what y'all think about it. Now, this is not a dating program and it's not a dating show. Y'all know we don't get down like that, but we can talk about it all day. And so we will take an hour and a half to get into this thing. It won't be a bloodbath, but we gonna talk about what makes the blood run, and we gonna talk about this thing and have a little fun, exchange a little information, the sensations that would be feeling, yo. We be taking it and reeling it in like a fish. Yo, I got my ride and we gonna do this thing. Yo, I'm talking about you. Okay. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Sunday from 1 p.m. till around 2:30-ish. And the reason that we say 2:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Sunday. And it is Sunday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I am your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the. Well, then you just say Omar with the R, and we are here. We are in motion. So we are talking about being old enough, well, should I say, not old enough to be your mama or your daddy, but too old to date. Is it a question? Is it a thing? Because I know for a fact that this doesn't apply to everybody. Some people don't look at dating someone that is older than them by double digits. They don't consider that to be a big deal. And for some people, of course, it's not a big deal. For other people, they might feel some kind of way about it. But the thing about it is, at a certain time in your life, somebody who is double digits older than you might be a real issue. It might even be like a legal issue. It might be something that's really not sweet like that. So we're going to get into that today. And we're going to talk a little something, going to bust it on up. We're going to make sure that we get it together. Yep. So what's up with y'all? You know what I'm saying? Urban Therapy with Sun Show. I know I was a little bit late, but I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm always a little bit late because I be having things I got to do. Be technical difficulties. Actually, it wasn't no technical difficulties today. The technical difficulty was that the sun was shining. The other technical difficulty was that the clouds went over the sun. The other technical difficulties was that the electricity was flowing. The other technical difficulties was that it be the way it be, go the way it go. But I'm here, y'all here, and that's what we need to concentrate on. So when we talk about dating somebody that's older than you, have you ever done it? Have you ever done it? From the time that we were younger, and we got to keep it a buck. When I was growing up, I used to see the older cats. I grew up in the crack era. In the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s. So, cats was getting money, fast money, all crazy. And I used to see them coming to the high schools, picking these chicks up. It was almost like it was limo service. They coming up in the Benzes, they coming up in the Audis, they coming up in the BMs, they coming up in the Volvos, they coming up in the Volkswagens, they coming up with the common foreign vehicles. But they was getting that money. And chicks 15, 16, 17 years old was getting picked up by dudes that was like damn near 30 years old. To me, it wasn't a good look. But those chicks was gassed and fascinated by, first of all, they got an older dude who was a street king visually, coming, showing interest in him in the first place. In second place, he has a car. Third place, he may have his own place. Fourth place, he got money, big money, maybe jewelry, buying the things. You know what I mean? She got a double set. The shrimps in this ear, the bamboos in this ear, the onyx in this ear, the swirls in it. Yeah, she switched it up from day to day. I used to be wondering, like, do your parents know that you getting picked up? You getting picked up, spread it out by some dude who's like 25, 26 years old? And I used to be wondering, like, these older cats, like you like 26, 27, 28 years old, sometimes 30 years old. Like, shouldn't you really be messing around with chicks your own age? But there's a good chance that they was probably chasing their youth. Maybe when they was in high school, they wasn't able to get the girls like that. Maybe they didn't consider the chicks to be all that fly when they was in high school. Now these chicks, they running around with the boom and the bow and the boom, bow, bow, boom, bow, bow, boom. Bow, 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 bow. So now here's their chance. You know how every generation thinks that the generation that comes after, or should I say the generations that comes after them, are always more well-built. I hear cats my age talking about that. Like, these young girls now, they big as shit. You know what I'm saying? When we was in school, girls ain't had them big titties. Yes, they did. They didn't look as big because we were smaller, but they did. I remember talking about the D's, the double D's. See, D-size titties was big titties back in my day. Double D's, triple D's, like you was off the chain, like you was like a mutant. Nowadays, these chicks now with all the high fructose corn syrup and you know what I mean, and all the carbohydrates, the bad carbs and all of that, they bulked up. But for our era, they was looking like what they was looking like, just like now they looking like what they looking like. So I remember cats back in the day saying the same thing that I hear cats, little predatory, potentially pedophile cats saying today. Well, she ain't built like she's this age or that age. She don't act like she's this age or that age, but she is what she is. So I used to be thinking the same thing about these 25, 26, 27, 28, 30-year-olds, courting these young girls. And it was really like the Pied Piper. They had the money and all the trappings of what looked like success, and they was able to get these girls. You had a car. Look, man, 1986, 87, 80, 88, all the way to 90. If you had a car, you was in a good position. So you whipping plus you got cash. Come on now. But it's the same thing today. It's the same thing today. So when we was talking about when you're a teenager and you're dating somebody who is double digits older than you, that's significantly older because you're a minor and they are a full-fledged adult. So what do? What do the parents think? Do the parents know? Shout out to the teenagers who lied about the age of their boyfriends. Oh no, he only 21. She's 17. He 21. For a lot of parents, they saying no, that's still too old. Y'all ain't never been in high school at the same time. How you figure that, Mom? When I was a freshman, he was a senior. How? He's 4 years older than you. Oh, he flunked though. So we was in, matter of fact, he flunked twice. So he was only in the 11th grade when I was in the 9th. So you mean to tell me that you dating a dummy? You dating a dummy? No, he flunked twice because he was sick. Plus his parents moved a lot. He's a military baby. So a lot of his credits didn't transfer from overseas. He was born in Munich. Munich, what's Munich? Germany? Yeah, he was born in Munich, Germany. And when he came to the States, first they was out there in the Midwest, but over more of the West. So he was raised in Wyoming. And then he came to the East Coast. So he lost a lot of his credits. That's the only reason he flunked. He's actually very intelligent. That's why he got money. Now, he got money because he know how to cook that crack up. He's into distribution. He's a street scientist, mixologist. You know what I mean? He good with the baking soda, the Coke, the baking soda, the water, and any other additives. But anyway, so once again, that's a double-digit age difference. And it could make all the difference between maybe even jail time, a court appearance, or somebody's father or uncle or older brothers coming to see you. What's going on, y'all? T. Carey, right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Carol Chamberlain, my friend, mi favorita, always a good time. And great to see you, my Robbie Ming, my big sis, doing the thing. She's something like a queen for a king. You know that is a thing. And Aisha K, thanks for coming on through. Good to see you today. Hey, Stacy White, thanks for coming through in this day, not the night, but make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. If you would like to call into the show, I invite you to call in. If you want to add your 2 cents, and the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. That's the number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes, y'all. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get on the line. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get your shine. 319-527-6199. Press number 1, and that would let me know that you would like to speak. And then I will call you out by the last 4 digits of your telephone number. And you can rock on and do the damn thing. So we talking about not old enough to be your mom or your dad, but too old to date. Not old enough to be your mama or your daddy, but too old to date. Have you ever dated somebody that was double digits older than you? Have you ever? Have you ever? Ever? Robbie Ming says, my daughter's father is 6 years older than me. Yeah, we ain't talking about that. That ain't nothing. Especially when you start getting older. You know, you start like 6 years older it seems like a big difference when he's 20 and you 14. That's a significant amount of time. That person has already graduated high school, probably gotten a job, or on their way to graduating college soon, or went to the military. They done already went overseas and came back on leave at 20 years old. But once you get into your 20s, like 20 and 26, that's not a big deal. 30 and 36, you know that's not a big deal. And that's whether you're talking about woman to man or man to woman. Like we look at it one way when it's the man who is older than the woman. Not saying that we look at it more positively. We might look at it like, well, he's older than her. You know, women mature, girls mature faster than boys do, so she could keep up with him mentally, which I actually disagree with. You know what I mean? I remember I was dating a girl who was 6 years old. I'm younger than me, and she lied and said that she was only 4 years younger than me. Matter of fact, no. She was 18. She told me that she was 20. I was 24. So I didn't know. Like, I used to be wondering why certain things, like you can act mature because you don't talk a lot. People think that as long as you don't come out your mouth and start talking all that crazy reckless stuff or really express your verbal immaturity, people will say, oh, they mature, because you it looks like you're taking time out to listen to what the elders are talking about. You ain't necessarily listening. You might have your headphones on. You might have your earbuds on. You ain't listening to nothing. You just ain't saying nothing. Oh my God, they are so mature. They don't know what you're thinking inside your head just because, when you're not saying anything. They don't know. But we assume that you're taking it all in. You're processing it. What they say? It's better to be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Ain't that what they say? So, all right. But when it's a woman who's 6 years older than a man, people going to be looking like, oh, well, since girls mature faster than boys in the first place, you got yourself an older woman. So she might be only 6 years older than you in age, but in experience and maturity is double digits. So yeah, she's not old enough to be your mom, but she might be old enough to be your aunt. What they say that young girls seek out older guys because they sometimes find it hard to deal with young men their own age, because although they are the same logistic number in terms of maturity, they might not be there. She might be years ahead of him mentally and emotionally. I don't know about that. Actually, I don't buy it at all. But yeah. If you think about it how your mother would think about it. If your mom, for a young woman, if your mom knows that you're dealing with a man 6 years older than you, and let's say you are of age, you're 18, 19, 20 years old. So let's say you're 19 years old. You're dealing with a man who's 25 years old. She ain't gonna bat an eye. She ain't gonna bat an eye over that. Like, oh yeah, 25 years old, yeah. She's a woman now, and he's a little bit older, which might be good for her. Your mom might be looking at it like, yeah, that'll be good for you. He might take his time with you. He's already out of school, got a good job, hopefully, trying to get his life together, on his way to doing something in life. Instead of messing around with these young boys that don't want to do nothing but stick and move, probably get you knocked up, on his way to getting locked up. He running around here acting like a little knucklehead, selling drugs hand to hand, fighting, throwing up gang signs, whatever. But if it's a mother's son and he's 18, 19 years old, messing around with a 24, 25 year old girl, she might be looking at it like, she might want to have a conversation with this woman. All of a sudden, she's a woman. She's a real woman. Like, what do you want with my young boy? You ain't old enough. You ain't old enough to be missing the glory days of when the young boys could slam that thing, slam all night long. And that's the funny myth. How, these cougars out here dating these young guys, talking about I need a young man because I'm at my sexual peak. And she's 45 years old. I'm at my sexual peak, so I need these a young guy who can do it all night long. I'm like, so wait a minute, which one is it? Do these young guys, are they able to do it all night long, or are they 2-minute brothers who just go ahead, get their shit off, then pull their pants back up and talk about they got to get back out there in the streets? Which one is it? Because depending on what kind of mood some women are in, you hear two sides of the story. Either these young dudes are bucks. They big, strong bucks. You know what I mean? With the horse dick that can slam it all night long, or are they 2-minute fast? You know what I mean? Dudes who can't hold a nut for longer than 90 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And trying to hit every young chick that's out here. Which one is it? What's it going to be? Let these cougars tell it. They big, strong bucks, big dicked and stammered. And they say that men over 40, over 45, over 50 years old, they limp willy, ain't got no stamina, ain't got no endurance, ain't got no motivation. I'm like, all right, that's what they say. I don't know. I mean, I guess some women, listen, I've never been with a man, never will be. So I wouldn't know. As it is, I'm just trying to see if the stories match. Because it's looking a little shaky, if you ask me. Which one is it? Which one is it? Are these young boys out here? Are they slinging it? Or are they slimping it? Let me see. Aisha K says, I date older men all the time. Okay. So, unless you're looking for, a horse out the pasture, I guess there must be something to it. Stacy White says 15 and 21. Are you saying that's the oldest you've dated, or are you saying that that's the 6-year difference that you could see or that you know about? Let me see. Stacy also says, I have friends having babies at 15 and 16. I had to watch my surroundings. I could not do everything my friends was doing. Man, I knew girls that was 12 and 13 who had kids. I knew girls that had 3 kids by age 20. Real shit. 3 by age 20. Starting at 13, 16, and 18. Something like that. Stacy says, I usually stay within my age, okay? Robbie May says, I couldn't date no man real older than me. My mom would have killed me. A lot of moms was against that. Some moms didn't seem to mind all that much. I've known some moms that actually push they daughters towards older guys. Depends. TK Wright says, some are bucks and others are 5-minute brothers. Oh, well, at least you giving out extra minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes could be like that could be like a steady banging. That's actually a good amount of time. One. 5 minutes of that steady banging might not seem all that short. I know you couldn't hold your breath for 5 minutes or even 2 minutes, but it's all good. I see what you're saying. Stacey White says, I am not a cougar. Wendy need to go sit down somewhere. Who's Wendy? Who Wendy is? Who Wendy is? Stacey White says, I couldn't get away with nothing when it came to my mom. Robbie Big says, my cousin loves young guys. She's a big cougar. She's 64 and she likes guys in its. Whoa, what the hell? Now hold on. Now the title of this show is Not Old Enough to Be Your Mother, but Too Old to Date. She old enough to be a 20-year-old's grandmother. Easily. In some circles, she would be the great grand. But what would a man in his 20s want with a 64-year-old woman? I'm not dissing nobody in their 60s or whatever. But what would be the motivation? What would be the attraction of a man in his 20s to a 60-something-year-old woman? That's what I want to know. Like, what we doing? What we doing? In my 20s, somebody who was 64, like, I'm asking them if they need a ride, to the market. Do they need me to do something for them? You know what I mean? You know, you one year short of a senior citizen. And of course, all senior citizens are not cut from the same cloth, the same way that not all 20-something-year-olds are cut from the same cloth. But that's a big ass age difference. I don't see how a 64-year-old woman could justify dating a man like that's younger than her grandsons. I don't know. But okay. T. Carey Wright says, I prefer older men, but they all have diabetes. Wow. Damn, all of them? You know, we got to do something about these incidents of diabetes. Black men and women, we got to eat better. We can't be out here all diabetic, looking all crazy. But yeah. But I'm glad you brought up the whole diabetes thing, because I wanted to ask, was it a health concern? You know, at our age, if you're talking about dating somebody double digits older than you, are you talking about dating somebody for the long term? You know what I mean? Because their long term and your long term is different. You know, listen, I'll be 52 in less than a month. You know, I think every day about my mortality. I'm not saying that I'm in good health, but I've seen good health deteriorate in what seems like a blink of an eye. So at 52 years old, I'm not on my way up. I don't care who tries to console me, compliment me. Oh, no, you still got it. That's all good. I know for a fact I ain't on my way up. I would like to not, mess up no farther, try to stay plateaued, but we ain't on our way up. Nobody in my age frame is on their way up. And that's just being real about it. So if you're dealing with somebody 10 years older than you or more, double digits older than you, you know what I mean? You have to start thinking, like, how many good years do they have left? Are y'all going to have a physical relationship? Are y'all going to have a physical relationship? Sexual. Maybe to some people, sex is not a big thing. I've heard people say it. Okay. For me, it's a necessary component of a relationship. It's necessary. It might not be the biggest piece, but it sure ain't the smallest piece. So when you're thinking about somebody 10 years older or more, you have to, seriously consider what their level of sexuality may be in a few years. You know what I mean? Like I might get with a hot 62-year-old, but when I become 62, she's gonna be 72. I'm well aware of what happens to a woman's body at 72. A man's body too. We ain't got to get all into that. We ain't got to get into it, but it is what it is. So, you have to be serious about whether this is a doable situation. You know what I mean? So, it's something that you have to take into consideration, a health issue. Shoot, at 52 years old, or let's say 50 years old. Fuck it. Let's go all the way back to 48. At 48 years old, you might not be in all that great health now. Then you're dealing with somebody that's 10 to 15 years older than you. You ain't in the best of health. They ain't in the best of health. Like, how many good years do y'all have together? Or do you just concentrate on the here and now? We'll take care of today, and we'll let all the tomorrows take care of themselves. All right. If that's how we looking at it, I ain't mad at it. But I'm asking, are we looking at it from that standpoint? Robbie Mink says, absolutely, I am not buying nobody sneakers but me. I mean, younger men dealing with considerably older women, women who are old enough to be their mothers. It's hard for me to believe that there's an actual physical or spiritual attraction. Do I know everything? No. But it's hard for me to fathom that. I mean, because what kind of conversations are y'all going to have? I look at it. I look at things a certain kind of way, and I'm like, I look at things maybe in an unorthodox fashion. So I'll ask myself, what would me and somebody who has never been in school at the time that I was in school, what would we have in common? What would we have to really be able to relate to? Like from the time I was in first grade, and I figure from the time I was in first grade, they should have at least been in school somewhere during the time when I was in school, even if you were in 12th grade. So I was in the first grade. You know what? The hell with it. I was in kindergarten, and they were in 12th grade. That's 12 years, a whole 12 years. You in 12th grade, you're supposed to be 17. In kindergarten, you're supposed to be 5. So I'm 5, they're 17. Now, at 5 and 17, if we knew each other, if this 5-year-old knew that 17-year-old, she would probably be messing around, calling me her little boyfriend. Oh, girls be, women be like, that's my little boyfriend right there. When he grow up, he gonna be killing them. Women be saying that kind of shit. If a man said that kind of shit, it would be over for him. It would be some kind of over. But women can get away with that kind of shit. TK Wright says, I'm nervous about being in my 60s and all these young bucks hollering at me because I look younger than my age. There's a lot of that going around. There's a lot of that going around. Like, even if you are in your 60s and you look like you in your what? I don't know, 50s, early 50s. I mean, I know people trying to say, no, she looked like she in her 40s. And I'm like, well, I know what 40s look like. Now, I know we keep moving the goalposts of what certain age groups look like, but I still remember. I tend to keep it a little bit of a buck when it comes to that. All right. Okay. So even if you in your 20s, even if you look at a woman that's in her 60s, like she's in her 40s, that's still way older than you, son. You 25, you saying that she looked like she's 45, but she's 62? Okay. That's still 20 years older than you. So like I said, I'm thinking that at some point y'all should have been in school together. Kindergarten, whether he was in kindergarten or first grade, they should have been in school at some time. Because after that, if y'all were never in school at the same time, there is absolutely a generation gap between the two of you. Absolutely. The music that y'all listen to is not the same. The things dealing with pop culture were not the same. Not the same. Not saying that y'all can't get into the same things or learn from each other. But what she was jamming to or what he was jamming to when he was younger is a lot different than what you're jamming to. No way around it. No way around it. You know, when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, there was no trap rappers. What is a trap rapper? We had gangster rappers. We didn't have trap rappers. We didn't have drill rap. We didn't have a lot of stuff that's going on these days. We didn't have mumble rap. We didn't have those things. That wasn't what we was. That's not what we was doing. And I mean, you listen. You can look at those genres of music any way you want to. I'm gonna let these young cats go ahead and live. Just because it might not sound that good to me, I'm not saying that it doesn't sound good at all. But it's your time. You're supposed to like those things that I don't think are so hot. I'm supposed to think that my generation was better than your generation. I'm supposed to. But if I'm dealing with a woman that's 12 years older than me or more, like, you have to expect that our expectations might be a little different. Like, when you're an older person, you're dealing with a younger person. What are your expectations of them? Are you expecting them to be as mature as you are? Are you expecting them to have the same immediate goals as you do? Are you expecting them to act and conduct themselves in a certain type of way when it comes to adversity or even in triumph? What do you expect? And are your expectations realistic? Are they grounded in anything realistic? Or is that a reality? Gary Wright says, Robin, they are all over me now. It's uncomfortable. I'm like, boy, you're the same age as one of my kids. TK Wright says, mentally, they can't hang with me. Understandably so. Or should I say, understandably not? So, not old enough to be your mom or your dad, but too old to date. People who are in their 20s and 30s probably don't have this concern. That's not something that they have to worry about. You get in your 40s and your 50s, though, it's something that you're forced to take into consideration. You know that you're not going to live forever, and neither are they. How much time will you have together? Let's do this. The people who are in the comments, let me know how much older at your age right now, whether you are with somebody or not, possibility wise, what's the oldest that you would date now? What's the oldest that you would date? Or in some cases, what's the youngest you would date? Because you might be the not old enough to be the mother or father person. You know what I mean? It might be you. What me you? Stacey White says, I'm glad I'm a kept woman. Sounds like a great thing. But nonetheless, what is the oldest of men that you would date? TK Wright says, I'm 48 or 49, okay, and I would date 62. Okay. So that's 13 or 14 years. Okay. So, all right, so you don't subscribe to the whole we should have at least have been in school together. That's my thing. So, all right, but that's cool. 62. All right. Now, at 62, what would be your expectation of a man that was 62? Like, would you be thinking about his mortality in terms of your own, in terms of how much time y'all would have together? Remember the actor Tony Randall? Tony Randall had 2 kids. He had his last child at age 79, and he died at age 84. He had his last child at age 79. I bet you he thought he was doing something too. Like, yeah, I'm still pumping it out. 79 years old. I love those tiny little tea leaves in deadly tea. Remember he has the commercial, Tony Randall? I love those tiny little tea leaves in deadly tea. His wife was like in her 30s or some shit. Some crazy. It was hold up. Hold on. Hold on. How old was Tony Randall's wife at the time of his death? All right. Now Tony Randall died in 2004. And this article is called "The Real Truth of Heather Harlan, Tony Randall's second wife, now widow." Oh yeah. Heather Harlan is the widow of the late legendary actor Tony Randall, who sadly died in 2004 at the age of 84. The former Flames had a huge age gap of 50 years. 50 years. So that means she was 34 when he was 84. Yo, man, what is you telling me? You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm not gonna get into whether I think that she was hooked up with him because he was an older dude. She knew he was on his way out. Like, why would you have children by somebody? You know what I mean? Why would you allow him to father children by you? You know, like, did you expect him to be 100? And even if he was, even if he had made it to age 100, that's 16 more years from when he died at 84. So your 5-year-old children would have been 21. You don't want your children to have more than 21 years with their father? See, I'm thinking that, I mean, these are certain things you have to take into consideration. Now, if it was on the flip side, if she was 84 and he was 34, it wouldn't have been children wouldn't have been an issue. She can't have no children, no damn 84 years old, 79 years old, 60 years old. There ain't no babies coming up out of there. Damn near 50 years old. For a lot, it's very hard for a woman to have a baby at 50 years old. People do it, but it's hard. And it's a hell of a health risk. And if we're talking about a health risk and we're talking about dating older people, age and health is something that you have to take into consideration along with their mortality. But is it a concern for you? A 50-year-old age difference, though, what are we doing? Okay. Stacey White says, I am 51. I guess it will be 52. I'm definitely thinking about the mindset. So the oldest you would date is 52 and you're 51? TK right says, I dated a guy 8 years younger than me. Won't do it again. She also says, I can't date a man older than 62 because I feel like I'd have to carry around a defibrillator all the time. Carol Chamberlain says, at Taki, that could be at any age today. Some are reckless with their health. That's true. TK right says, older men like to travel and are usually settled and not hoes. My man now was in high school at the same time as me. Okay. Oh shit. You know what I'm my bad, y'all. What I'm laughing at actually is I'm like, my dad had his last child at 60. At 60 years old, that's when he fathered his last child. And I'm sure that his baby mom, because it wasn't the woman he was married to. That's not who he had his last. That's not who he had his last 3 children by. It's not. It's not who he had his last 3 children by. So I'm sure that those women thought that he was settled at those ages. That 60 years old, oh yeah, he finished playing. Maybe he was, but he was serious about messing around. I don't know, man. I don't know. My pop was here today. He would tell you it was meant to be. But yeah, this is something that you have to take into consideration when you start talking about dating somebody who is older. As we're getting older, we have to think about what older means in terms of our mortality, our health, our even our maturity. There's a lot of middle-aged women are obviously not ready to be middle-aged. A lot of middle-aged men ain't ready to be middle-aged either. I be seeing dudes out here. I know they in their 40s. Still with their pants. I saw a dude the other day. This nigga had to be at least 45, 46 years old. And his pants was hanging. They was under the ass. I was looking like, my nigga, what is you doing? I'm gonna say this, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna mean it. I would have rather seen this nigga wearing skinny jeans than to see him with his pants hanging down under the crease of his ass. I was like you can't do that. He was doing it. Like, you at your age, you gotta get a belt. You're supposed to have a belt, a wallet, maybe even a billfold. What you doing, son? Alicia Moore, aka Devotion, is all up in the house. What's up, Mom? And she says, I love me an older man. I would not be able to date a man younger than me because of the mindset and where they are in life. I am settled. I would like a man to be settled. Then we can come together. I could dig it. Then we come together. Okay. Carol Chamberlain says, Taki. Yes, older men and women are more settled and more financially secure. They've worked and put things in place to secure a good future. Most of them have. Definitely not all of them have. I mean, I must be the only one who knows some bums, or at least knew some. I definitely knew a good amount of cats that weren't set, and I knew some cats who didn't work all their lives either, so they weren't able to capitalize off of the Social Security and the pension and the entitlement benefits. You got to work in order to get the good chunk of that. They say that won't even be in place by the time we get to that age. I think it's going to be in place in 13 years. I think so. I don't intend to have to count on that. I know I got to do something now. But Carol Chamberlain says, I'm not saying all, so yes, you should have. Oh, I should have said most. I mean, I'm just saying, I wasn't indicting you on that, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I knew some cats, that didn't really take care of. Shoot, I know some women too. And that's a little odd. Because women are normally up on, trying to secure their future than men are. But I know some women, I'm like, damn. You struggling at 65? Yeah. Because they didn't do enough when they was 25, 35, 45. Carol Chamberlain says, oh, I'm sorry. Devotion says, most, right. Because it is a lot of people out there who's looking for a nurse and a purse. A nurse and a purse. Man or woman. Y'all talking today. Ain't no men in the chat today. Where's my Ansel? Where's my brother from another mother, Norris Hill? Where y'all at? You know what I mean? It's looking bad out here. Not that y'all ladies are hurting feelings and nothing like that, but we need some men to stand up for themselves. Ansel, as a military personnel, so we know that his pension and all that is going to be set. We know we good. We know we good. But health, finances, a maturity factor, all of these are factors. When you start you start talking about when you talk about whether you would date somebody double digits older than you. Double digits older than you. Like I said, at this age, there are a few things that you have to take into consideration as far as your future is concerned. You at this age, we're not looking to be jumping around a lot. We ain't looking to be, dating on the level that we was dating. We're not looking to be dating on the level of exploration anymore. We're looking for something concrete. We've already jumped, played the field and all of that. Not saying that everybody is ready to settle down, but for those who are ready to settle down, you're looking for something. You're looking for somebody who knows what they want, is sure about it, and is going to be dedicated. Okay, so I said so. I don't see how you can take on that type of mindset without also considering how many years you're going to have together, how many good years. You know what I mean? Young people be talking about growing old together. I want somebody that I can grow old with. Well, me and mine are damn near old. We are old heads to the young guys, to the young girls, to the young folks. We the old heads. We over 40 years old, over 50 years old. We the old heads. So we can't really be talking about, all right, even though we may be in decent shape, good health, and all of that. Talking about growing old, it ain't that far. We ain't got that far to grow. We ain't talking about the caterpillar to the cocoon to the butterfly. We butterflies. You give me butterflies inside. I'm just saying. Da, 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 da. I'm just saying. If you're trying to grow old with somebody and they already double digits old, how many good years do you have together? You know what I mean? You want some good years before the wheelchair, rocking chair, and the hospital bed years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Stacey White says, I'm definitely not looking for a nurse. I'm good. Cool. Carol says, it's important to think about your future, be it a man or a woman. I can't comprehend living waiting on a handout. Man, come on, man. You ain't never done lied. But you know how it is, Carol. Some people can't help messing up some money. Look, y'all like to shop, maybe. I like to buy things. You know what I mean? But you don't go spending till you don't have none no more. Some people never got out of that practice. Totally bad with money. I know women my age always begging for money because they can't manage money. It's very unattractive. It is. It's unattractive. Like, how is it? How you in your 40s and 50s and you don't know how to manage your money? Like, what are you talking about? You raised kids. I don't know, man. A mature woman that has kids should never have to sell her food stamps. I know times can get hard, but if you got kids and you selling your food stamps, to me, that's saying a lot. You literally taking money from out of you. I mean, food from out of your kids' mouths, literally. And what I'm saying is, if you have multiple children, especially younger children, and you're collecting welfare, that already says something. If you've collected it for a long time, you on welfare for years and years. I mean, what we talking about? I could see, life dealing you a bad set of cards out the deck, and you had to do what you had to do for a little while. Maybe you had to get an operation, so you got on welfare in order to get the medical card, so you could get that operation. You did that, but being on welfare for 5, 10, or generational welfare years, and you got to well, I say that if you're on welfare, it's impossible to make ends meet because you're poor. There's no way around it. You're not just broke when you're on welfare. If that's your only source of income, you're poor. Very poor, I might add. So I'm thinking that your kids should motivate you to do a whole lot better, a whole lot more. But we're talking about dating somebody double digit years older than you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Stacey White says, "Well, that's where I need balance at." Oh, you saying you be blowing your money all crazy? You be getting rid of that cash? Carol Chamberlain says, "I may not be where I want to be, but I'm comfortable, and I work after retirement because I enjoy it, and it allows me the freedom to do as I want when I want." Sounds good to me. Listen, when you're used to having money, you're not going to fuck that money up. It's the people who ain't used to having money who get a little bit of money that be messing that money up bad. You know what I mean? It ain't always the ones who, you know, who got money. I mean, if you the type of person that makes more money by mistake than most people do on purpose, all right, I get you. I see what you're saying. We're just trying to figure this thing out called life. I said, how do you get with somebody that's double digits older than you and you're middle aged and you don't take your future into consideration? Are they going to be here? Will they be here? Yeah, it's something that we really have to take into consideration, and that's whether you're male or female. You know, being able to relate to the person that you're dealing with is paramount. A lot of people don't know nothing about that though. A lot of men and women who date each other don't or are together or are married do not seem to understand the importance of being able to relate to each other. Do not understand the importance of being able to express themselves to each other openly and honestly. Do not understand the importance of being able to come together, whether in agreement or disagreement. They don't get it. They don't get it. And you can tell that they don't get it because you hear the bitching. You hear that bitching. And it's real. It's real. So when you start talking about being double digits apart from each other, you're not talking about really a small thing. You're talking about something that's deep. So what would we do? What have you done before? What would you do now? Mm. You know, for older people who date younger people, it can be a real ego boost. It can be a real ego boost. Like, look, I still got it. I'm still hanging out here. Not only do I look younger, but I still, I'm still holding the cards. And I got a hand, I got an ace, a king, a queen, jack, and a 10. I'm good. I'm still royal flushing out here. All right. Sound good. But this is bigger than how you look. This is how you feel and how you want to feel along with somebody else. So this is not a singular issue. We're talking about being together. And y'all 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 something years apart. But no, not that far, because we called this show, my bad. We called this show Not Old Enough to Be My Parent, but Too Old to Date. Now, what I meant by that is they may still be out of your range depending on where you are in your life. They may be too far to reach. They're not as far away as your parents are, but they may be too far for you to consider. That just may not be your cup of tea at this juncture in life. And for the foreseeable future, because we're not getting no younger. Stacey White says 2 is always better than 1. Slow down, Mom. No, it ain't. Because 2 fools ain't no better than 1. Give me 1 fool. I only want 1 food. 1 food. One fool. Double digit age difference. Double digit age difference. What we got here? Oh, what we got? All right, y'all. We're going to do these birthday shout outs and get on up out of here. That's right. One food. All right. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious July 17th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number 1 out the box, Shakita Boswell, turning 44 years old today, and also Alice O'Neill, turning 76 years old today, and Lasagna Kiki Ukachi, turning 39 years old today, and Lamille Jones, happy birthday to you, and Gabadebo Soyemi, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, Alexis Austin, turning 35 years old today. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious July 17th. I hope that today finds you in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. I rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen, you can date somebody that's older than you if you want to. When we're talking about being not old enough to be your mama or your daddy, but too old to date. It's a personal choice. For you, it may be fine for you to be dating somebody old enough, not old enough to be your parents, or old enough to be your parents, or old enough to be your grandparents. It really is a personal choice. But I will say that when it comes to wanting to be with somebody, or allowing yourself to be with somebody, I think it's a good thing to take into consideration how much time that you're going to have to be with them. If you really love somebody, you don't ever want to be without them again. So why wouldn't you factor that into the way that you choose? Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, love y'all right back to life. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And for my blog talkers, let me get you up out of here. A peace, my dear. Yeah.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. Peace, y'all. And well, love. Have a great day. No exceptions.